be employed here, did you apply several places? Or
No,
just-
I really wanted to come to Green Bay, and so it was, and was very much taken with the academic plan, and came on board early. Found a home in what at that time was regional analysis. It was basically the home of geographers, and had very supportive colleagues, and we had a very active group.
What year did you come here?
In 1966.
Oh, so it was centered?
Yeah.
Okay.
The legislation had been developed, the authorization had been developed, the academic plan was in development at the time, and it sounded very appealing.
Was there one person who hired you or a committee?
I was hired by that time. I don't know who actually hired me. I know the longest interview was with Alice Goldsby, who was a microbiologist. And I don't think she really knew what geography was all about. And and I don't think, well, it was strange because we talked about the unit of analysis synthesis at the time, which was an interdisciplinary unit, primarily of the English department.
I think I have to redirect your microphone because it's picking up something from the door here, which surprised me comes through pretty loud. Let me put it here, closer to your throat, then I can, this will drown out the,
Yeah.
although that looks clumsy though. That looks clumsy. You need a pocket here.
I don't have a pocket, yeah.
Well, let me just, I'll put it out of camera view if I might.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember when you first met Ed Widener?
No, I really don't. I don't remember when I first met him, but understand that we had an enormous hierarchy at the time. We had lots of people, and lots of deans, and lots of vice chancellors, and the place was really humming with new faces, new vocabulary. It was all new.
Who was the dean I know they had a dean they had several deans before they collapsed them and made a super dean, I think it was referred to.
Yeah.
Who was in your area? I mean, I see the name, well, it was Sergeant Story.
Yeah. You know, I don't remember who the first dean in our area was. It was kind of a revolving door of deans. And in fact, if you hung around here long enough, you were destined to be a dean. Everybody had been a dean at one time or other. But at that point, I was too busy getting my courses together and concentrating on getting some articles published that I guess I didn't worry too much about what was going on. And I wasn't. I never was particularly interested in campus politics.
Were all the faculty at the center automatically faculty at GB, or was there any
Well, no,
process?
there was a sifting process, and I'm not sure how it worked. That was always a mystery, but some people were selected and some people were not. And that was all very awkward. So I'm not sure what the process was, but I knew we lost some colleagues at that time. By the same token, colleagues that didn't see much future in UW Green Bay. They didn't buy into the program, which at the time was viewed as pretty radical, I think. I don't think that's too strong a word. Its nomenclature, its whole general academic plan did not appeal to everyone. And so some folks just chose not to participate.
In the early literature that I've seen, 67, 68, there's often the mention of this being a university that is focused on the upper Great Lakes region. Did you have any involvement in that, or the geographers?
Yeah, that's very true. We had the view of the upper Great Lakes, meaning Superior, Huron, and Michigan, and a northward focus. That there was a Canadian orientation as well as circumpolar beyond that. And so I was involved with that to some extent. We taught courses dealing with the higher latitudes. We taught a couple of courses just on Canada, and some courses in Quebecois French. So there was that orientation, and then similar to that, or complementing that, was the whole idea of comparisons. Geographers are great for comparing things, and so we also had a course then not only on the Great Lakes, which is an unusual course, and it's too bad it doesn't exist today. And we had a complementary course on the Great Lakes region of Africa. And we had an Africa expert here in the Rift Valley region, and to look at the differences in the cross-cultural development of those two areas, as well as their differences in the biophysical environment. So there was a lot of neat stuff like that going on, and that was one of those areas that was a great deal of fun, challenging, doing new and different things, but was one that maybe didn't have the appeal that we hoped it might be.
Did the focus on the upper Great Lakes come from Madison, directions from Madison, or was that originated here?
I don't know that Madison had much to do with our academic plan. Because you know, at that time, Madison was a very traditional university. The Institute for Environmental Sciences, I think, was just developed at about that time, which would have been an interdisciplinary department. No, that was our own work. We hired then Jim Clifton, who was dealt with Native Americans in the Upper Great Lakes. So that was homegrown.
Who else had expertise in the northern United States and in Canada?
Oh gosh, there was a couple of political scientists had interest in the area. There was an economist or two that dealt with kind of the staple theory of economic development that was characteristic of Canada, the Innis School. We had, I was from Alberta. We had a couple of other people from Alberta. We had several from Toronto. We had a wide range of Canadian representation on the campus.
Could you tell me about the new courses that you had to develop? That's something I've heard spoken by others, is that they came here and courses that had never been taught anywhere, you had to come up with some sort of a syllabi and whatever.
Yeah. New course development was constant. and really stimulating, and just a tremendous amount of hard work. But yeah, we were constantly, it seems to me, in those first few years, conceiving of, developing, and writing new courses. Personally, we did things around rural settlement, new towns, which we have classic examples here in Wisconsin, so that was a natural. Resource communities was another one that we looked at. We taught. I did a 2-semester course, one on high latitude biophysical and one on cultural. That was new to the area. In fact, there were only about 15 other courses like that in the world. And then the interdisciplinary courses were often pretty new. The introduction to regional analysis was a brand new course, taught by a variety of us. Jim Murray taught it for a long time, Don Gandry. I taught it for ages. What else comes to mind? Well, one of the greatest teaching experiences that was new was Lost and Found Landscapes, which was a team-taught course that was done by, I did it along with Professor Mike Throne, and that was just one of the best teaching experiences that I'd ever had. An English prof and a geographer looking at landscapes together with the class. It was a great experience.
How much of that remains of those courses and that type of team teaching?
Well, some of the courses continue, but some of what we did in those courses is also continuing, regardless of what we called it. Because once you have that kind of experience, it doesn't leave your repertoire. It's there. It's in your teaching DNA, and I think you always draw on that sort of material. So while you may not teach it in formal class, some of those perspectives and techniques that you use stay with you.